Edgar Malroy and Sophia Alderson's lengthy and heated argument that afternoon was interrupted by a number of nuts who came into the betting shop. A Buddhist who wanted to place a £20 bet that Buddhist meditation will produce the conditions that allow a person to see absolute reality, a Muslim who wanted to make an £85 bet that the angel Gabriel brought the revelation of the Quran to Muhammad, a realist who wanted to bet £100 that whatever exists has its character independent of it being perceived by man or God, a West African witch doctor who bet £30 that Nzambi is the creator and master of the world and has gone away because of man's crimes against him, an unemployed Pythagorean who wanted to bet £50 that numbers hold the key to the absolute, a Thevsrazad Buddhist from Edinburgh who bet to £52 that everything is impermanent and in flux, then changed the bet to £20 when he realised he wouldn't have enough money for the train fare home, a member of the Order of the Lunar Temple who bet £250 that he and his spiritual brothers were reincarnations of medieval knights who would soon journey through fire to the planet Sirius, where God lives in another dimension, on Tuesdays, a Marcion Gnostic undergoing therapy who bet £3 that Simon Margus was the first and supreme God, a Christian who bet £500 that a convicted criminal had been raised by God from the dead and was the Messiah for whom Israel had been waiting, an old lady with 4 bags of shopping who bet £17.32 that David Icke had been God's messenger, etc., etc. I know because I have downloaded into my ZEM 12000 Nexus all the metaphysical bets that Edgar Malroy ever took. At 7, Edgar closed the metaphysical betting shop. He and Sophia continued to argue, sitting on the grass outside amid the 35 species of counted wildflowers. Because of her sandwich board, Sophia looked very uncomfortable sitting on the grass outside the metaphysical betting shop amid the 35 species of counted wildflowers. She absolutely refused to take it off, though. A funny thing happened when Edgar Malroy and Sophia Alderson argued on the grass outside the metaphysical betting shop. Amid the 35 species of counted wildflowers, Sophia was telling Edgar that the whole universe was built to a most wondrous plan, that everything that happened with a purpose, when a pigeon shat on Sophia's golden hair. Edgar Malroy was sceptical about the purpose people had in saying there was a purpose to life. Whenever anyone talked about purpose, and a lot of religious nuts did, Edgar Malroy would drop his trousers. Which is what he did outside the metaphysical betting shop as Sophia Alderson tried to remove part of God's wondrous plan from her beautiful golden hair. Once Ding Dong Sevens had been operational for a few weeks, the number of people becoming Jehovah's Witnesses around the world jumped tenfold. Thomas Duncan was made president of the Jehovah's Witnesses. He didn't know what to say. He took up golf and got a mouth ulcer. Thomas Duncan thought that his old mouth ulcer brought him closer to Jesus Christ. When he heard of the election, Thomas Duncan's father publicly disowned his son. As if to make matters worse between himself and his father, Thomas Duncan flew to London the day after Edgar and Sophia met and placed a bet at the metaphysical betting shop, the very first major religious leader to do so. Edgar called Thomas Duncan a nut and gave him his receipt and badge. Thomas Duncan said he would always wear the badge with pride and asked Edgar if he would like to buy a copy of the Watchtower magazine. Edgar called the president of the Jehovah's Witnesses a nut again. Thomas Duncan, like myself, had bet £500,000 that God existed.